On the Track is a web TV show about cryptozoology, natural history, green issues and whatever else the team feel like making up as they go along. Enjoy!
'Tis the season to be jolly, tra-la-la-la-la, la-la-la-la. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, Hennis really likes this time of year and gets very excited. But I'm not so keen. It's not a time of year of which I'm fond. I used to love it when I was a little boy, but since I became an adult, you'll say he's not an adult, but since I became the years that I should have been an adult, I really haven't enjoyed it. And also, this is my second Christmas as a widower, because it just seems like yesterday, but Karina died in August last year, and the time has gone so ridiculously fast. But there isn't a day that I don't think about her and wish that she was back here with me. So all in all, this isn't going to be a particularly jolly time in the Dan's household. Christmas, as well as being a time of great joy for many, is a time of great sadness for others. I know this as well as anybody, because 40 years ago and 21 years ago I tried to kill myself on 2 separate Christmases, and although I'm far more stable now than I ever had been before, and I truthfully don't think I'm ever going to be in that situation again, I want to reach out, and the CFZ wants to reach out to people in the CFZ community who are not as lucky as other of us are. So we are here for you guys, and to show the deep spiritual nature of what we're saying, here is Richard with a very special Christmas song called Adrian the Beige Side and Guantabo.
Adrian the Beige Side and Guantabo had some very beige thighs, and if you ever saw him, you would even say he was a Procinian. All of the other Anguantabos lived in the Central African rainforests, and Adrian the Beige Side and Guantabo was no exception because he came from the Congo. Then one steamy rainforest eve, a potto came to say, Adrian, with your thighs so beige, you'll be about the size of a domestic cat. Then how the bush babies loved him as they shouted out with glee, Adrian the Beige Side and Guantabo, you'll sometimes be known as the Golden Potto.
And I think that's a very educational song about a little known member of the Prosimians. Well done, Adrian.
I really like the old credits.
Totally without setting it up or planning it properly, I decided to ask various of the people who are closely involved with doing On the Track each week what had been their favourite cryptozoological event of 2021 and what they were looking forward to in 2022. However, as I said, it was not planned, it wasn't set up properly, and the conversations took place with me talking to them on the other side of my iPad and then recording the results. So the sound quality isn't what I would have wished, and I hope you will forgive the patchiness of it, as I had to put various filters on to get rid of the background noise, on top of which the fish tank was playing up and making silly noises as well. So it was a typical hi-fi CFZ job. Enjoy. So V, what was your favourite cryptozoological or Fortean zoological event of 2021?
Wally the Walrus.
Well, yes, Wally the Walrus, I think, was probably my favourite thing of 2021.
Yeah. It's cuddly, and he got on people's boats, and they got a bit upset and stroppy, didn't they?
Wally reminded me of Prudence.
Yes. I don't think he farted as much.
No, and she didn't fart as much probably, and he probably didn't snore as much either. But one never knows. So what's your biggest hope for 2022 in the wonderful world of the stuff that we cover?
Well, I would quite like to see that young female walrus who's currently, I think, in Northumberland, isn't she?
I believe so.
Yeah, on the coast of Northumberland. I would quite like her and Wally to meet up as he's on his way back down from, was it Iceland? I think it was Iceland last I heard.
He's back on his way up through Iceland.
Oh. Well, I would quite like if they could meet up, and then we might end up with walruses on our beaches again.
Well, I think it would be very nice if we had walruses on our beaches. But I bet you anything you like that the Fishing Boat Owners Association, or whoever they are, probably wouldn't agree with us.
No, they wouldn't. They would say it's going to eat the fish, even though it generally eats little shellfish, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, and also it'll knack their fishing boats.
Yeah, so that would be my hope for 2022 in that area. I think it would be nice to see a natural rewilding of walruses. That would be nice.
Richard, what was your favourite cryptozoological or Fortean zoological, either will do, event of 2021?
Best event of 2021. It would have to be the London Cryptozoology Club's There Be Beasts 2 and the Folk Horror Revival Group's Winter Ghosts, the convention about dragons in Whitby.
Oh, the whole convention was about dragons?
Not entirely, but mostly. One guy who was supposed to be speaking about dragons didn't even mention them in his entire talk, and everybody got a bit pissed off with him. But I spoke about dragons, another guy spoke about dragons, and they had a big dragon on poles, a little bit like the one we had for the Weird Weekend, but not quite so big.
Well, that's pretty cool. So, what's your biggest hope for cryptozoology or Fortean zoology in 2022?
Well, I hope to get back out on the track of unknown animals again. Thanks to COVID, I've had over 2 years of doing Sweet Fanny Adams field work. So Chris wants to go back to Tajikistan. I'd like to go back to Tasmania at some point. I'm hoping to get out to Mongolia with an American TV crew. We'll have to see what happens. I am going to the Isle of Man with the people from Lapis on a Jeff the Talking Mongoose pilgrimage in May next year.
And will you be taking Jeff with you?
I will be taking Jeff, yes, and we're renting a cottage, and we're going to be camping out overnight on the very spot where the house stood, and see what happens.
And you've just said camping and cottage in the same sentence. You don't expect me to make some remark.
Oh, ducky.
And I do have a request from several members of the On the Track team, which will remain nameless. Pony.
Ponies and flannels.
I've mentioned this on quite a few occasions, but this is the first time I've been able to demonstrate it. For some reason, which I truly don't understand, my old friend Richard Freeman finds the word pony massively entertaining, and you can just make him giggle at the most inopportune times just by saying pony to him. So, Maxine, my darling, what was Miss Maxine's favourite episode or favourite cryptozoological thing of 2021?
I think my favourite episode would be the one on the squid. It was absolutely enchanting, exciting, and I think that we don't take enough time to look further into the oceans than we do to look at the skies.
I think you're completely right, but you're usually completely right, my dear. I thought that that interview with Doug Hycheck, I think, was really something special.
It was really, really riveting. I found it to be probably... I was truly, truly hooked. I was inspired, and I was fascinated, absolutely. After reading so many of the old mariners' tales, I just feel that interview was absolutely class.
So what do you want most to happen with CFZ investigations and On the Track in 2022?
I'd like to see more of. Let's see more of what's in the oceans. Let's go back to the old mariners' tales. Let's go back to the present day. I'd like to see more investigations into the unusual, into what's going on in the oceans, especially with, I think, now with climate change and the change of the oceans themselves. But still we're having sightings of various creatures that are coming over, various animals that are coming over, whether they're crypto or not. I think the whole subject is fascinating. I'd like to see more of it in 2022.
So, Louis, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be operating at the level we are at the moment, and that's something for which I am eternally grateful. But tell me, what was your favourite thing in whatever it is the CFZ do in the last 12 months?
Well, we haven't done it yet, but we've started the planning for it, and that's the trail cams we might create using recycled smartphones that we can just leave on a trail to take pictures of anything that moves past them, wildlife, etc., etc. And this is going to be something we look more into in the new year, so it's very exciting.
And I think you've probably already answered it, but what are you looking forward to most in 2022?
Definitely, as I say, the cameras, but also everything going on with the Forest of Dean. Anything else we're looking into and planning that I don't know if we are able to talk about yet, but there's just so much going on.
Carl, old friend, what was your favourite cryptozoological or fortune zoological or CFZ related thing that happened in 2021?
I would have to say that it was probably Wally the Walrus, actually, which turned up in, I think it was Tenby back in March.
Fantastic story, absolutely brilliant, and the way that Wally travelled around the British coastline, then went to the Channel Islands, and then left a trail of havoc all the way through coastal France and Spain before coming back for a lap of honour. I was so impressed. Yeah, and there's another one now. Wally was last seen going back in the coast of Iceland, going north. But there's one called Freya now in Northumberland, about 10 or 12 miles north of Newcastle.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that was amazing.
What do you think the chances are of walruses becoming established in Britain?
I suppose it's possible. I don't think there's very much data to go off at the moment. So we'll just see, really, and see what happens and keep our fingers crossed, I think.
Well, V came up with the idea that because of the melting ice caps, the fresh water polluting the salt water of parts of the Arctic is killing off the bivalves on which walruses feed. And so they are being forced to come further south in order to find rich fields of cockles and mussels.
Wow, yeah.
And I don't know about you, but that, I think, makes quite a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I say bring them on, more the merrier.
And what do you want to see happen in 2022?
I would like to see 20 walruses.
That sounds like, I'm sure there's a song, it's like that song by the Police, you want to look around and see 20 errant walruses basking on the shore.
Absolutely.
So Graham, as we look back at 2021, what's your highlight been?
Well, operating the camera during the investigation of the Almasty hair sample was very interesting. The best thing of the year was being able to meet my family again after all the lockdown restrictions, and hopefully in the year to come there'll be a few more family get-togethers and indeed CFZ get-togethers.
I don't know why nobody's asked me, but my favourite part of the year was when I found some hedgehog shit in the garden and I rolled in it and it smelled very interesting. And the thing I'm looking forward to most is going to be when you play my song again for the second time. They call him Waggy, Waggy who shits on the carpet, throws up on the mat, blames it on the cat. You call him Waggy, Waggy stays inside to pay, says the Christmas tree makes a great lavatory. They call him Waggy, Waggy says outside it's freezing, his anal gums need squeezing, and it's all
Stop right now, I've already told you, Archibald, about your disgusting behaviour. I don't want the ladies of the CFZ to be put off their Christmas lunch by your vulgarity. Let's see if Mr. John has got something more appropriate for us.
I've been drinking for days and I'm throwing up blood and my skin is beginning to turn blue. But it's the only way that I know to survive Christmas.
Oh, that's just totally inappropriate. I've had enough of all of you. I'm going into the office to have a traditional Christmas with the axolotls.
If you want to support us and help us make more content like these, please press like, subscribe, follow our Facebook page and check out our Patreon.
And as the ghost of Joe Strummer, who is an ever more regular visitor to my little studio, wants me to remind you, always press the notification bell. Otherwise you won't be told when there's a new show to watch. And that would be an awful pity, wouldn't it? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is about it for our Christmas episode. I hope you enjoyed it, whether or not you watched on Christmas Day or at some time unbeknownst to me in the future. Whatever, I hope it lifted your spirits a bit and helped show what we in the CFZ are planning to do over the next 12 months. I want to say a big thank you to everybody who's helped in this episode, particularly Graham, Louis, Carl, Maxine, V, and probably a bunch of other people whom I have forgotten. But I do apologise if I have forgotten you, because I do not want any single person who helps with this show to feel that their efforts are not 100, 150, 250% appreciated. There will be a show next week. What it is, I don't know yet because I haven't thought of it, but there will be a New Year's Day episode, and then as of the 7th we'll be going back to total normality, if you can say that anything that On the Track and the CFZ do is totally normal. Thank you very much for watching, my dears. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next year. Because if you're there, I'll be there, the dog will be there, Maxine will be there, and Louis and V will be there, and we'll all be seeing you.